Yeah, New York Times apparently has the messages. We're gonna look at it. Before he was arrested on suspicion of carrying out the assassination, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson sent friends messages showing that he was closely following the news about the killing. The day after Charlie Kirk was killed, an acquaintance of Tyler Robinson's posed a question to him in a group chat. The FBI had just released two grainy surveillance images of a skinny young man in a cap and sunglasses walking in a stairwell on the Utah Valley University campus, and it asked the public's help in identifying the suspect. Tagging Mr. Robinson's username on Discord, a messaging platform, the acquaintance attached the images and wrote, "Where you at?" with a skull emoji, suggesting that Mr. Robinson, 22, looked like the man being sought. Mr. Robinson replied with a minute. His doppelganger, he wrote, was trying to get me in trouble. Tyler killed Charlie, another user wrote, apparently in jest. That was on Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. local time. It was not until later that night, nearly 34 hours after the shooting, that Mr. Robinson was arrested on suspicion of carrying out the assassination of Mr. Kirk, 31, a conservative pundit whose killing has inflamed the political world. The Discord messages were the clearest glimpse yet of the suspect's demeanor in the hours after the killing. They were shared with the New York Times by someone who knew Mr. Robinson in high school and has kept up with him in the group chat, which includes about 20 people, but said he had not seen Mr. Robinson in person for several years. He spoke on the condition that his name not be used, fearing harassment for being an acquaintance of the suspect. The Times independently verified that the person who shared the screenshots attended high school with Mr. Robinson and found other indications that they knew one another. The screenshots were shared at the request of the Times. Discord declined to confirm Mr. Robinson's username, but it matches several other accounts that he used elsewhere online. The suspect is expected to be formally charged by local prosecutors on Tuesday. It was not clear on Saturday if he had a lawyer. The messages do not shed light on a possible motivation for the shooting, which has been fiercely debated by people trying to ascribe blame to a political side. A police officer wrote in an affidavit that Mr. Robinson had recently discussed Mr. Kirk's upcoming event in Utah with a family member, and that the two had talked about why they didn't like him. People who knew Mr. Robinson over the years said that he was extremely intelligent, followed current events, and spent much of his time online or playing video games. He was registered to vote, but was not affiliated with a political party and appeared to have never voted in an election. His parents are both registered Republicans. On Sunday, Governor Spencer Cox of Utah said in a television interview that Mr. Robinson had a leftist ideology, but he also cautioned that it could take time for an exact motivation to emerge. After Mr. Robinson joked that the gunman was his lookalike, another user suggested that the group could turn Mr. Robinson in and get a $100,000 reward that the FBI was offering. "Only if I get a cut," Mr. Robinson responded. How fucking insane is that? He's just like yucking it up. I mean, obviously, you just don't think that the person in your group chat is capable of doing such a thing. So in your mind, no, it's not internet brain poisoning, chatters. No, it's people just fucking around being like, isn't it funny that this guy looks exactly like you? And him just like leaning into it and being like, haha, yeah, it's totally funny. It's my doppelganger. We should split the money. Yeah. Someone posted, "Whatever you do, don't go to McDonald's anytime soon." A reference to the arrest of Luigi Mangione, who was found at a McDonald's restaurant and charged with the killing of a health insurance chief executive in Manhattan. Mr. Robinson agreed and offered a supposed joke of his own, writing, "Better also to get rid of this manifesto and exact copy rifle I have laying around." So does that mean he actually has a manifesto? When another user suggested that the killing of Mr. Kirk would lead President Trump to send the National Guard to Utah, the suspect replied, "In a red state? Nah, clearly the shooter was from California." Oh my God. Oh my God. Brother, he was fucking memeing nonstop. Around that time, several news outlets reported that ammunition near a rifle at the scene included engravings referencing transgender ideology. The truth ultimately was that the engravings included the phrase, "Hey fascist, catch," as well as lyrics from an anti-fascist Italian song and a reference to a sexual meme about a bulge, the Ciao Bella reference, and also, what was it? "Notices your bulge, ooh woo." But at the time, before the exact phrasing of the engravings was publicly known, oh, and then if you see this, you're gay, Lamau. But at the time, before the exact phrasing of the engravings was publicly known, the suspect sent messages that suggested he was closely following the news. "I heard the ammo had something about trans stuff on it, but they aren't releasing photos or exact quotes," he wrote. He added, "And also the claim wasn't backed by the official FBI, just some dude in the briefing room." Bella Ciao, not Ciao Bella. Okay, calm down. Yes. "I can't believe he would get ooh woo and oh whoa confused? I don't know. I thought it was ooh. Anyway, Utah's governor said in television interview on Sunday that a person previously described as a roommate of the suspect was in fact a boyfriend who was transitioning to become a woman, and he said that the person was fully cooperating with authorities and was shocked by what had happened. So the irony here is that this person, Republicans are trying to say, like, this is, if what they're saying is true, okay? If what they're saying is true, this would mean that the trans person involved in this is unironically the good party, okay? A cis white guy shoes Charlie Kirk, and it's the trans person that's like, yo, that was fucked up. I'm cooperating with the fucking authorities. Even if there is evidence of that happening, what's crazy about the situation is that it's not the trans person that pulled the trigger, and Republicans are still like, nope. How is he cis if he's dating a trans person? Dog, what the fuck do you mean? You don't become trans when you date a trans person, even if they are dating, which I don't even know if they are. What? Cisgender just means that you are the gender that you were assigned at birth. Transgender means that you do not subscribe to the gender that you were assigned, to sex you were assigned at birth. Okay, that's it. Cis doesn't mean gay or anything like that. There's no like trans cooties or whatever. Mr. Robinson's message on Discord appeared next to his avatar, which was from a Garfield comic and depicted the confused face of Garfield's owner, John Arbuckle. At one point, he joked in a message, I'm actually Charlie Kirk. Wanted to get out of politics, so I faked my death. Now I can live out my dream life in Kansas. The police have said that the suspect walked onto campus ahead of the event, in which Mr. Kirk debated students with opposing beliefs and climbed up on the roof of a building about 400 feet away from where Kirk was speaking. The gunman fired one shot, they said, fatally striking Mr. Kirk, and then dropped down from the roof and rushed off campus. Hold on. The police said that Mr. Robinson had implied or confessed that he committed the crime, and that he was then encouraged by a family member and family friend to turn himself in, which he did. He surrendered to the police in southwestern Utah, where he lived, more than 3 hours drive from the campus where the shooting took place. Following the suspect's arrest on Thursday night, members of the group chat on Discord struggled to believe that he was actually being accused of the crime. Our governor wants to give him the death penalty, dude, one wrote. Another said, I truly cannot distinguish if this is for real. Did you see the two photos of the suspect at campus and the mugshot next to each other? They look nothing alike. Yeah, man. Totally. Yeah. Superman and Clark Kent, two separate people, you know? That's how it is. I can't believe motherfuckers would be like, oh, he was wearing glasses and a hat, so very clearly this is a different person. That's wild, man. A real Superman Clark Kent situation.
Messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere, and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk, but it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding.
This is like, I will say this, the thing that annoys me about the back and forth on this stuff is that like the whole style of like spirited debate in the marketplace of ideas, I think liberals genuinely believe that it's not a form of content and a form of propaganda, but instead, like, liberals are so predisposed into believing that this kind of serialized, like, SJW owned compilations are actually people sincerely trying to engage in an honest back and forth. It's so dumb. Like, it's just not true. That's not what the purpose is. That's never been the purpose. This isn't like, and I'm not saying like that's not the purpose, so it should be banned, or that's not the purpose, or violence is the answer, or anything. Obviously, I'm not saying that, and I find myself, of course, having to clarify this position over and over again because people will regularly try to misconstrue my words here, but it's just not fucking true at all. The notion that like dunk culture is somehow actually working at the behest of like more speech or whatever. It's just a way to sequence out Republican talking points.
Documents in having his life taken in that very act makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here, and that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable.
It's the accused assassin posing with a .50 caliber machine gun.
It's these photos that they saw that made them go, oh no. Oh no. This dude is one of our guys. But that hasn't stopped them from claiming that this is like, you know, trans Antifa violence anyway.
Chilling photo was taken at a military recruiting event. Tyler Robinson also posed with an anti-tank missile launcher. Here's what we've learned about the 22-year-old suspect accused of the political assassination that is shocking America.
Tyler Robinson.
He graduated from Pineview High School in Washington, Utah in 2021. Graduation photos with his proud mom, Amber, show him with a lei made from dollar bills as a graduation gift. Whip smart, his ACT score is 34, the top 1%, and he had a 4.0 grade.
This is what's like, this is actually unique. Shooter being like a white kid from a conservative family, not unique at all. Okay? Shooter being a white kid from a conservative family with excellent marks on his academic, like being a go-getter, like being someone of this kind of background, this kind of academic background is actually unique for any shooter. It's definitely interesting. And the last time I saw this was like with Luigi Mangione. How is that surprising? In most circumstances, guys like this, in most circumstances, when you look at the profile of a shooter, they oftentimes have like tremendous antisocial behavior because, I mean, you're killing someone. Like that requires a level of alienation, a level of isolation. Like that, it's not a typical profile of a fucking mass shooter, school shooter, an assassin at all. This dude was still in his group chats memeing, like right before he got fucking arrested. That's not normal at all. Oftentimes, guys that do stuff like this have like a Thomas Crooks style profile, you know? Thomas Crooks is just some fucking random dude who is, whose brain is fried, doesn't have a lot of friends, got bullied, you know what I mean? Like, is in the depths of social isolation. Yeah. I saw this post from, Wide of the Post. I think a kid switching from college to a trade school is smart, but a kid who got full tuition, 4-year scholarship and moved into a dorm flaking out after the first semester only to go into a work-study trade program makes me think that that's a huge part of this equation. There's so much expectation bound up with school and life choices, especially at that age, especially on how to build a social life untethered from high school. That period, 2020 to 2021, was already crazy challenging on that front. Can't imagine that switch was easy to make. He got a fucking full ride. He got like a presidential scholarship to go to this school, and then he swapped out first semester. He went for one semester. It wasn't even in-person classes, and he swapped out to go to a trade school.
8-point
semester was
average.
remote.
His mom took video the moment he learned he had earned a scholarship.
Congratulations, you have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University.
But the family's joy was short-lived. He attended Utah State University for just one semester before dropping out. I spoke with criminologist Casey Jordan.
He really just does fit the profile of somebody who falls into a rabbit hole, has a feeling of disillusionment and isolation. This kind of person is usually very immature and often at a crux in their life where they feel like nothing is turning out as they planned.
The Robinsons seem like an all-American family. Tyler was raised in this $600,000 six-bedroom home with hunting trophies on the walls. Social media posts show family vacations and fishing trips. His mom works with disabled people, and his father, Mark, owns a kitchen countertop business. But Utah's governor says Tyler Robinson's life took a dark turn.
Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years.
He said that at a family dinner before the shooting, Robinson vented about the visit of Charlie Kirk to Utah Valley University.
They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate.
Investigators also revealed that Kirk's assassin left behind bullet casings with political messages. One says, "Hey fascists, catch." Another says, "Bella Ciao Ciao Ciao," a song used in the video game Far Cry 6, and which radical elements have adopted as an anti-fascist anthem.
Bella Ciao Ciao.
Radical elements. That's crazy. Also, Far Cry 6 is so funny. What the fuck? Saying Bella Ciao is most famous for being used in Far Cry 6 is insane.
There was also a reference on the bullets to a violent video game, Helldivers 2.
Violent video game. Oh my God. Everything is so cooked. It's just, this is already deep fried for like even people of our generation who are oblivious to like all of the online culture and the back and forth. So I feel like it's even crazier. It's already difficult to discern what took place here if you're young and you're like kind of tapped in. But these people are also old and definitely not tapped in. So it makes it even harder for them to comprehend what the fuck they're looking at. And that's why you got this insane commentary. Just so fucking out of touch. Violent video game Helldivers. Aldım bile. Ne o? Peki tamam. Tamam.
Chilling engravings on bullet casings are invoking comparisons with Luigi Mangione, who prosecutors say scrawled messages on the bullets used to kill United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Like Luigi, Tyler Robinson is young and intelligent and had so much going for him before allegedly lashing out with a mindless act of violence.
Something in his life was on a downward spiral, and he picked Charlie Kirk as the target for this hatred, this vitriol.
And now they're, as we covered already, they went from the shooter is trans to realizing the shooter is not trans to only going back to it now to say the shooter had the trans bullets to realizing the shooter's bullets weren't trans to now claiming that, well, the shooter was around a trans person, potentially a trans person. We don't even know if the person is trans or not. So we have found a way, or at least the Republicans have found a way to once again turn his back to trans people somehow.
Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson, reportedly lived with a transgender partner in Utah, according to FBI officials.
And this is the same partner that reportedly came forward with messages from the suspect discussing the killing, including the rifle, engraved bullets, and a change of clothes.
Retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent James Gagliano joining us now. You know, we've had this conversation, my friend, about the nexus of information as we continue to unpack this investigation, if you wouldn't mind, is it relevant at all as a data point who this person, this shooter was involved with? Does that matter at all as we look at the investigation in terms of the community? Lawrence, and I think even Rachel mentioned earlier, Discord communities. How do you unpack that when
That's
people
the other
say
thing. They don't know what Discord is either. They don't. So these guys don't know what a fucking Discord is either. So they think it's like they don't understand that there's like different servers. They don't understand that it's a communication platform where people can just like talk to one another in the same way that you can with like Skype. So that's the other problem with this too, where they're just like, they're talking about shit that they don't understand at all, right? It's just, I don't know. It's all bad.
Investigations are layered. And really, when you go to look at this now, we're seeing this new ideation, which is assassination culture.
Yeah.
What does that consist of? Starts out with a grievance. These are all grievance collectors, whether it's a mass shooter, a terrorist, or a political assassin. You add into that an ideology. My ideology is superior to yours. You're an existential threat. You're going to stop the next election. You're against my family unit. And last, moral absolutism. You believe that you are superior, your thinking is superior, and I have the right to take your life.
I don't even fully know where this like the roommate is trans is coming from. I think like they were pointing to the fact that like the roommate had like a face filter, like a female face filter on a TikTok that had like 3 views or something. And also that the roommate was like photographed wearing like a weird hat or something. Like, no, that I'm not even kidding. But I don't know. But they might be. They might be. But there's 2 reasons why it's like, there's 2 reasons. That's not it. It's been confirmed. They found social media accounts and everything. Like originally they were talking about it because like there was a face filter thing. But they were active on trans subreddits. Oh, they found the Reddit, right? That was not his Reddit. That was the roommate's Reddit, right? I saw. It was like the Jordan Peterson one, right? The one that likes Jordan Peterson and also loves the landlord, the land Chad subreddit or whatever. Like it's like one of those like weird neoliberal type. Like their online footprint is like very neoliberal kind of. That the land Chads is like a satirical subreddit, but I think they were like, maybe I misunderstood it. Anyway, we'll look at what it is. I don't know the full details and the full background, but what I saw initially was like people connecting it to like a random, you're spreading misinfo. They hated landlords who was making fun of it. Okay. Hold on. Calm down. I'm not spreading misinformation. I don't know the exact details. I'm going to get to it. Listen to my words. I am going to look into it. Do you hear that what I'm saying? I'm going to look into it further. I don't know. Understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm saying, I don't know. I saw something before I went live and I didn't look too much into it. Okay? Calm down.
Life, because I disagree with you.
So in this country, we have a history, sadly, of political assassinations.
That's right. Yep.
And, let's take JFK, for example. People had a lot of ideas. And
Dog, they were saying the roommate was trans because he posted himself on TikTok, the anime girl filter. But didn't the roommate also like have a Reddit account or something?
Theories about what would have what happened, and was that killer or shooter? He was obviously a disturbed person, but who was actually behind animating and using that disturbed person to actually, kill our president? So, do we know anything about that? And do you feel like our government can be trusted to dig that deep?
We're certainly not immune to political violence. I mean, in our 250-year history, 4 sitting presidents have been assassinated. We're conditioned, sadly, Rachel, that's normal, whether it's Gabby Giffords or Justice Kavanaugh. We think that that's almost our norm. Charlie was an interlocutor. He was somebody that just went to college campuses and debated. Now, in looking at this assassin and what he did, it was just a cacophony of errors and how clumsy it was. He was successful in what he ultimately set out to do in his dastardly deed. He is essentially a murderous nihilist. But the FBI now is digging deeper. Was he inspired by somebody or something? And was he directed, or did anybody provide any material support? That's important.
That's what I want to know.
Can we stay right there? Because, and we got a statement from Discord, which is the chat feature, the gaming app that they were using. Now, they say that they've kicked them off the app, and the communications that took place were after the assassination. I'm not comfortable with just the company's answer. I want to see how forensic people do. Do you think there could have been planning on the app before? And if the people that he was communicating with knew about it or had conversation about it, will they be brought in?
That's the tough thing. I mean, we cherish our Fourth Amendment protections, you know, against illegal searches and seizures and all of our privacies that we appreciate as well. This is tough. Remember 2015 San Bernardino, and at the time FBI Director Comey trying to get into an Apple phone from the terrorists who were dead and was unsuccessful.
No.
We had to end up going to get some kid to break the code because Apple wasn't working with us at the time. Later they changed their mind. Yeah, it's a tough thing. Again, people online say crazy things. It's separating that from the people that are going to act on it. And Lawrence, to your point, that's the tough part.
Well, I think this is going to be a challenge for the FBI. You know, MAGA and President Trump's people are in charge. And I think people are going to, you know, really look at this to see, do we have the FBI? Can we restore the trust that was lost?
Yeah.
So much of it lost during the last administration. So thank you so much for joining us. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Man, great.
Is Brian not on there because he kicked his ass out for what he said the other day? Yeah, he had to apologize for saying you should euthanize all mentally ill homeless people or some shit. Anyway, I don't know about the level of relationship, the involvement that he had. I don't know about the background of the roommate potentially. And hopefully we will find out more details. But I saw a piece from this Axios article where it literally said that the authorities were questioning whether or not to reveal the gender, like the gender identity of the cooperating witness, or not witness, the cooperating person, specifically because they thought it was like too incendiary to reveal, which leads me to believe that they, you know, that they might be trans. There's also Reddit footprints involved with the cooperator as well. Oh my God, everything is fucking paywall. Jesus Christ. Cooperator with the authorities, cooperator with the law enforcement agencies. Because it seems like they very quickly went to the roommate and were like, what's up? Like, what's going on with this person? Which is understandable. They're trying to develop a motive here. They're trying to figure out why this person did what he did. Okay, here it is. Authorities are investigating whether Tyler Robinson, suspected of killing Charlie Kirk, believed Kirk's views on gender identity were hateful to people like Robinson's transgender roommate. 6 sources familiar with the case tell Axios. Why it matters. Investigators believe Robinson's anger at Kirk's views could be a key to establishing a motive for the slaying of the controversial activist whose death sent shockwaves through American politics. Each of the 6 sources familiar with the investigation told Axios that investigators believe Robinson had a romantic relationship with his roommate. The latest, Utah Governor Spencer Cox confirmed on Sunday to ABC News This Week that Robinson lived with a romantic partner who was undergoing a gender transition. Robinson's roommate is cooperating with authorities, Cox said, but that Robinson is not and has not confessed to Kirk's killing. Axios sources said investigators initially wanted the information about the roommate's gender identity kept quiet because that person is being extremely cooperative with the authorities. The roommate was aghast at the slaying when speaking to investigators and shared electronic messages sent by Robinson, one of the sources said. That's what happened. Oh my God, no, the roommate said, according to the source. Here are all the messages. The phone messages indicated a sender listed as Tyler had mentioned that after the shooting, he had wrapped his rifle in a towel and stashed it in some bushes near Utah Valley University. What is so insane about this, by the way, is that the person who is trans in this situation is cooperating with the authorities, and yet every fucking Republican has basically run with the narrative that like without any evidence whatsoever, has run with the narrative that this is yet another instance of trans violence. And I suspect, given the shooter's background, that he was like a white boy, you know, from a good family, a Republican family, they will try to say that like they'll go with a trans lover narrative and be like the trans lover actually poisoned his mind and radicalized them into taking this like violent act, this act of vengeance. The phone message indicated a sender listed as Tyler. Tyler also told the roommate in writing that the rifle would have to be retrieved, Cox said. Between the lines, federal and state law enforcement officials are also examining leftist groups in Utah to see whether they had knowledge of the alleged shooter's plans beforehand or if they lent material support to him afterward. One of those groups eliminated his social media profile after the shooting, Axios has learned. The motive and political ideology of Robinson, 22, are subject. Well, this literally could have been because they were just like claiming that random people were the shooter. Like, that's the other thing. Because, like, in the aftermath of this, they straight up were saying, oh, this random DSA member is the shooter. That random DSA member is the shooter. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. The motive and political ideology of Robinson 22 are subject of intense online debate. Some conservatives have insisted he's an unhinged leftist. Liberals have pushed back by pointing to Robinson's conservative upbringing in Utah. The reason why I didn't immediately rush to the notion that this was a right-winger in the aftermath of this incident was because I told you there's plenty of people who grow up in conservative backgrounds and don't have conservative opinions. There's people from a similar ideological upbringing, even in this community, right? That their starting position is very conservative. Their family is very conservative, and they like slowly but surely move away from that kind of thinking. So it's not unheard of. Now, of course, Republicans don't think that is the case, and it's very obvious that. Because Republicans don't think that is the case, that they immediately started rushing to conclusions about this person being like one of theirs, you know? In a Daily Mail interview Friday, family matriarch Debbie Robinson said the family supports President MAGA's movement. But again, Debbie Robinson, the grandmother, might not know Tyler Robinson's point of view. Okay? Most of my family members are Republicans, she said. I don't know any single one who is a Democrat. Cox said on NBC's Meet the Press, just like the grandmother might not know of the political allegiances of Tyler Robinson, their friends, like people that, friends that say, oh, this person is definitely a leftist, he's extreme, they might not know either, okay? A lot of people just make up their own minds. They talk shit, if you will. Most of my family members are Republicans, she said. I don't know a single one is a Democrat. Cox said on NBC's Meet the Press Sunday that while Robinson comes from a conservative family, his ideology was very different than his family. He said authorities are trying to piece together how Robinson, a high-achieving student, a very normal young man, was radicalized. Clearly, there was a lot of gaming going on. Yeah, a lot of gaming going on. It's the evils of gaming. It's the video games. Do you game so rarely to prevent radicalization? Yes. Friends have confirmed that there was kind of a deep, dark internet and Reddit culture and these other dark places on the internet where this person was going deep. Family members have told reporters that Tyler Robinson had become more political in recent years and had expressed interest in Kirk's visit to the Utah Valley campus on Orem, Utah. Cox said a Robinson family member had told investigators that the accused shooter recently had a conversation in which someone, who's the someone, said Kirk was spreading hate, was full of hate, but it was unclear from Cox's remarks who actually made that statement. Dude, this is the worst. What the standard for what is news reporting, what is considered like good news reporting gets increasingly worse every day, man. What the fuck is happening? Like every day since the shooting took place, there has been massively consequential pieces of misinformation that has been revealed. Whether it's that they apprehended the shooter and then they realized it wasn't the shooter, and then they apprehended another person and then they realized that other person wasn't the shooter. Be a little bit more careful. You guys are people in positions of power. This whole let's fucking destroy the institutions, it turns out was a mistake. Okay? You need to have competent people running in positions of power. You need to have people that don't, no matter what their ideology is, okay? No matter what their ideology is, even if they're right wing or left wing, it doesn't matter. In this moment, you're supposed to do your fucking job. And your job requires you to take this seriously, okay? You can't just go out there and be like, I think this guy was trans and was writing trans stuff on his bullets, and then have that literally fall apart with a little bit of scrutiny, only to turn around and be like, well, maybe it was actually his girlfriend that was trans, and like, that's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. You can't do that, man. This is people's lives that you're talking about. Like, the ways in which we have found out like information about this story have been genuinely shocking. Like the ATF leak that went to Steven Crowder, and then Wall Street Journal confirmed it and then had to retract it because it was like half cooked. You know, there wasn't like, they didn't see any primary materials whatsoever. They just like went along with assessments being made without any sort of firm analysis. You cannot, Baba. Oh my God, my dad's phone is so loud, bro, and he doesn't hear it, and it's just ringing. It's just ringing. LGBTQ activists have criticized media outlets for erroneously reporting in the hours after the shooting that a bullet casing from the scene included a message related to transgender people. Kirk, who toured college campuses and challenged progressive students to debate him under a tent that said, "Prove me wrong," was an outspoken opponent of gender-affirming surgeries for minors and transgender athletes competing in women's sports. What they're saying is clearly that Robinson's roommate knew a lot and didn't say anything after the killing, so they're a person of interest officially and are cooperating. A second official said, "We want to keep it that way." Oh,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I do want to start with some of the many unanswered questions about the investigation. You told the Wall Street Journal that it is, quote, very clear to us and to the investigators that this was a person who was deeply in.
Crowder claims he got it right and wants you to apologize, Law. Wait, what? Me? Fuck Steven Crowder. The fuck do you mean? We were here. We saw it. Like, the ATF leak was half cooked. It didn't actually feature the actual message at all. The fuck are we talking about? Yemek benim ki geldi. Yeah, he got subpoenaed by the ATF. What is he talking about? Information that is pertinent to the investigation, that's important to the investigation, without proper analysis being revealed this way is literally has contributed to the misinformation environment. There's a reason why the ATF doesn't actually put out preliminary assessments without doing proper analysis.
Indoctrinated with leftist ideology. Can you elaborate on that and be more specific?
Well, sure. So that information comes from the people around him, from his family members and friends. That's how we got that information. Again, there's so much more that we're learning and so much more that we will learn. There will be official charges will be filed on Tuesday, and there will be much more evidence and information available then. And again, we're interviewing all kinds of people, everyone that knows him, and trying to learn more about what that motive actually was.
Well, some outlets are reporting that the suspect lived with a transgender partner. Is that accurate? And are investigators looking at this part of his life as a possible motivation?
Yes, definitely. And yes, I can confirm that. I know that has been reported. And
this is also another part of the problem with the collapse of the institutions, is when you don't know if you can trust them when they say something because they've already fucking fucked it up. Like, when an official government representative tells me something, there has to be an assumption that he is, no matter what his political background is, no matter what his ideology is, I have to assume he is being sincere. I have to assume that he's not operating to score political points against like random subsects of the American population. Do you see what I mean? And when you actually reveal yourself to be biased in this regard, and so biased that you're willing to reveal half-truths or sometimes false information, and you lose that credibility, it makes it much harder to trust this person. It's like the Israel phenomena. Like, this man straight up said he was praying that the shooter wasn't, one of them. Now, of course, I think he meant like, someone from Utah, but he straight up said he wished the shooter was like, not from the country. Like, I know he meant from Utah, not from Utah, but come on, dude. Yeah, he's like, I pray that the shooter was a black Muslim transgender from Mexico illegally crossing the border. Like, that's an insane thing to say, bro. You're a governor. Like, fucking take your position seriously, please. Yeah, motherfucker said he prayed 30 hours for that. Also, something to reconsider. Maybe your prayers don't work, man. I don't know what to tell you.
The FBI has confirmed that as well, that the roommate was a romantic partner, a male transitioning to female. I can say that that he has been very cooperative. This partner has been incredibly cooperative. Had no idea that this was happening, and is working with investigators right now.
And how is that relevant to the investigation when it comes to the motive? Are you learning that?
Sure. Well, yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out right now. Again, it's easy to draw conclusions from that, and so we've got the shell casings, other forensic evidence that is coming in, and trying to piece all of those things together.
You said that the roommate is being very helpful. Has that individual explained to law enforcement what the mindset of the shooter was and whether or not it is connected to his ideology or his situation as transitioning, as you just described?
I'm not sure about that piece right now, Dan.
What?
Okay, so we're not sure if the fact that he was romantically involved, as you say, with his partner who was transitioning is relevant to the motive of the murder based on the investigation.
Well, sure. Again, all of these things we're trying to figure it out. I know everybody wants to know exactly why and point the finger, and I totally get that. I do too.
Then why are you bringing this shit up, bro? What the fuck? Like, how is this helpful then? He's like, listen, we don't really know. The person who is trans is cooperating, but also don't let that get in the way of us fomenting hatred towards trans people in general. Come on now. Yeah, we can't let a crisis go to waste,
And so I just want to be careful, as I haven't read all of the interview transcripts, and so we'll have to wait and see what comes out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We should all be careful. I guess just because that's out there are a lot of people drawing conclusions, and so I'm just trying to get as many facts as we can glean from you, since you have been involved in the investigation. And on that, the social and gaming platform Discord released a statement saying its servers were in no way involved in Tyler Robinson's alleged plot to assassinate Charlie Kirk. But it did say there were, quote, communications between the suspect's roommate and a friend after the shooting, where the roommate was recounting the contents of a note the suspect had left elsewhere. Can you tell us about that note that the shooter left?
So I can't yet. Again, those are things that are still being processed for accuracy and verification, and will be included in charging documents.
Okay, so you.
Oh, now they want to fucking dial it back. Okay, not when it comes to speculating about the involvement of the trans roommate. But certainly when it comes to the actual note, can't reveal that. Sorry. That note was written by the white guy who pulled the trigger, by the way, which is crazy.
But the note was found, or the content of the note is known by law enforcement?
Again, I can't share any specifics. They're looking at everything right now.
Understood. I just want to go back to my first question about what you told the Wall Street Journal about that this is a person indoctrinated with leftist ideology. And the reason why I think it would be great to be more specific is because your goal of trying to lower the temperature, you said that this is based on investigation and interviews with people who knew him. Did they just use the term leftist ideology, or did they give specifics?
Yeah, there are conversations that were discussed specifically about Charlie Kirk, other conversations about the direction that this was going. And look, my job is just to tell people I really don't have a dog in this fight. If this was MAGA and a
No, you do, bro. You definitely have a dog in this fight. You have admitted that you have a dog in this fight. You have the biggest dog in the fight. What the fuck? We wouldn't have expected you to have a dog in the fight under different circumstances because you're the governor. Right now, it's very hard for us to assume you don't have a dog in the fight. You said you were praying, man. You were praying, man.
radicalized MAGA person, I would be saying that as well. If the friends were saying that, I would be sharing that as well. That's not what they're sharing. And so I do think it is important, again, to understand how someone gets radicalized like this. And in this case, it happened with, as much as people wish it wasn't or don't want it to be this, these are the facts that are being presented to us. If there,
I can't believe it. Like, there have been so many high profile mass shootings, school shootings, children being targeted in this goddamn country by far right neo-Nazis. We know where they get radicalized. We know how they get radicalized. We know what their worldview looks like. We know what major party they actually are close to ideologically. And yet, for some weird reason, this kind of question is never addressed. Can you perhaps tell me why this kind of question is never addressed when the overwhelming majority of these sorts of high-profile incidents? Bro, you are literally the most fake news guy ever. It's actually insane. You're a liar. Why? Especially in this moment, if you're calling me a liar, then you're saying that my assessment is incorrect. So you're saying the shooter is a Nazi then, because my assessment is the shooter is not likely to be a Nazi. Are you saying that I'm a liar? The shooter is definitely a groyper? Is that what you're saying? I haven't seen enough evidence that the shooter is a groyper. You're talking too fast for them? No, this person is not actually responding to anything that I'm saying. This person is responding to the idea that he's designed in his mind of who I am and what I must be pushing for.
Are additional facts that would point otherwise, but family discussions, parents, this is what they're saying, and these, again, these things happen, and so it's okay to have these discussions.
Listen, absolutely, and I'm just trying to get more facts, more details of the facts that you're putting out there. One last question on that. You just said right now, which is something that you mentioned on Friday, is that he had discussions with family members about Charlie Kirk. Do you have specifics on what he was saying about Charlie Kirk to his family?
Just not a fan. That's all I can say.
Okay, not a specific reason why.
Wow. You mean to tell me that the guy who shot and killed Charlie Kirk was not a fan of Charlie Kirk? That's great. Thank you. You really gave us a motive there. This clears up a lot of these questions. I was wondering if the guy who shot and killed Charlie Kirk was a fan of his or not.